So the Brown Hornet, I felt like really represented who I am, a message carrier. That's who an MC is in my eyes. You have to have a message. You have to be a message carrier. That's an MC. So I'm not a rapper. You know what I mean? Rappers come and go. MCs are gonna always make something of substance that's gonna, you know, be able to transcend for decades. I've been a part of the Wu Tang movement in Stapleton, where the seed was planted. You know, so back before the Clan was put together, because the Clan is nothing but a man-made alliance from RZA. He put that together because as the Wu Tang movement already existed, he was introduced to the movement himself that was originally from Stapleton. So once he got introduced to it, when he was the Prince Rakeem, he got introduced to the Wu. Due to the fact he's a lot older than individuals and he was already in the music business, he himself, light went off in his head on, listen, all right, I'm gonna be able to put individuals together in a group that's gonna represent Shaolin. So a lot of, you know, individuals who represent Wu Tang to this day wasn't Wu Tang when the era first began. They got together for a common cause. RZA was able to get brothers from Paul Kill to get in to the Wu Tang movement. They was down with a whole nother name and regime. The Wu Tang was already in existence in Stapleton. You feel me? So it was a way of life. We was young, 17, 18 years old, karate movements, Wu Tang juice. Our slang was so much different, you know, just the whole thing. It was kind of like corny to anybody who really wasn't with it at that moment. But RZA was able to see what it was for a movement, see how he could band together and use the gimmicky ching, 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 boom, boom, boom into the beginnings of it. So when he says he does the shout outs, you know, Blasey blah, all of the members, and then it comes to, you know, Shaheem the Rugged Child, down little record, Pop the Brown Hornet. Any Wu-Tang member, any Wu-Tang fan or fanatic is gonna say, well, why did he say that man's name? You know, he only said my name because I was there before he put his clan together. And due to the fact contractually, I didn't fit in, that's all I got was a shout out. But for the small-minded individual, they may say, well, I never heard of you until RZA shouted you out, which would be a lie. You know what I mean? You heard of me and you seen me and you just didn't want to put it together that way. But as far as me being associated to the clan, that's because I predate the Wu Tang Clan as far as being a part of the Wu Tang movement. Now, the Wu Tang movement consisted of a lot of individuals, but by the time it was put together, only who RZA was able to have signed that contract. And once they signed that contract, they made a pact within themselves. You feel me? And if you wasn't with it, obviously you had to try to create your own way and your own movement. So even though I'm associated with the Wu Tang Clan as part of being an affiliate, and I'm not anyone's affiliate whatsoever, you know, there's other people that are affiliates of the Wu Tang Clan. You feel me? It just so happens that Pop the Brown Hornet is not one of them.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying the concept of Wu was already there, but RZA came up with the name.
The concept of the Wu Tang was already in Stapleton. All the RZA did was add the clan onto it. Now, what I'm trying to say is, hypothetically, you're in your mind. We're from Harlem, right? And we got a crew called, you know, we from Harlem, yo, so we just call ourselves, yo, we Harlem. Feel me? Now, a dude that's not from Harlem, right? He might come in and hang out, might be your cousin, one of our cousins, yo, my cousin's gonna hang out with us, and he like your style, you like your slang, he like, hey, oh, you feel me? Now he like, oh, I'm gonna come up with a Harlem clan. It's not everybody from Harlem, it's a Harlem clan. It might not even be none of y'all. that's down from with the Harlem originals. Because the Wu Tang Clan, when you look at it, it's family members of RZA's. You got the Jizza, the Genius, the Jizza. That's the RZA's cousin. He's from Brooklyn. You got the Old Dirty Bastard. In the Protect Your Neck, he said, Brooklyn Zoo. Right from the rip. So, and the story goes on. There's a lot of individuals that's down with the Wu Tang Clan that's not originally from Staten Island. Pop the Brown Hornet, I'm born and raised from Staten Island. You feel me? A lot of the Wu Tang Clan, they moved to Staten Island. Even Raekwon said, and then we moved to Shaolin Land. He's from Brooklyn himself. You feel me? So it was easy for them to represent Shaolin because since they're not originally from Staten Island, they made a fictional name to run with, which was Shaolin. And once they signed the pact with each other, if you didn't come through RZA, he made sure that he sabotaged your movement. And that's how it was in the 90s. Biggie was from Brooklyn, Nas was from Queens, you feel me? Fat Joe was creating that shit with Big Pun up in the Bronx, and the Wu was Staten Island. And RZA made sure, yo, if RZA couldn't coast or make a beat, and I did Pop the Brown Hornet personally, made sure that in my career, I wasn't gonna go get a RZA beat because RZA said, like, you know, if he wasn't gonna use his beat, he was gonna, so I deliberately went against the grain. You know, even when you come with GP Wu, and that's a whole nother story, but deliberately did that because I predate the clan, the whole movement. You know, I'm gonna tell you a good story. This is a true story. One time I was in front of 218, rest in peace, Sax, there's a few other brothers we was out there. That's the 90s, we was doing our 1-2. This is before the clan really became big. But they was practicing doing a 1-2. And I was in front of 218 Broad Street. It was all a gang of us, and then we just seen a mob walking straight down from like behind 227, coming behind 29. And we looking, and we was like, what the? And then I was like, oh, that's RZA and Paul Kill. You know what I mean? So RZA walks right in front of me, 218, boom. And he got, at the time, A-Son and a couple of them motherfuckers. He was like, yo, we want to battle. You know what I mean? So A-Son got spitting his shit. I'm spitting my shit, my whole crew know homo, everything I'm saying, they know boom, 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 holding it down. You know what I mean? And true story, A-Son was like, damn, I don't rhyme like you. Like, I got my own boom, 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 because I'm hitting them. You know what I mean? Right. And I'm like, yeah, I don't rhyme like you either, but yo, we respect each other. It's like, nah, yo, you live, you know what I mean? So the respect was already there. The respect was there before the clan was, you know what I mean? I was supposed to be down with the clan. Call was made and all of that. And he told me I was only going to get 5%. You know what I mean? This is word to me. Ghost, it was a phone on Broad Street. And at the time, Ghost, this was a different story. But Ghost was with A-Son, a.k.a., you know, Old Dirty. And when he came through, you know, outside was telling him, like, yo, that Wu started here. And Old Dirty, A-Son at the time, he was like, what? Yo, the Abbott introduced me to the Wu. He was like, yo, Sun God, yo, Ghost, what's up with this? He's like, Ghost was like, nah, God, like, nah, it started here, God, like, he's like, word? And A-Son looking, I'm like, yeah, word. It started here, the movement started right here, my brother. Everything has a start. Right. Don't get fooled with anything. Right. That shit started right there in Stapleton, where I'm from. And if you do your research, Meth was on Fat Scoop, somebody was doing an interview with him, and he said, nah, that shit started in Stapleton. And that means a lot. That means for a lot, y'all overlook the fact that what y'all rep had a beginning and a start. Y'all overlooked that. Y'all didn't pay homage to that for years. You feel me? Right. And like I said, you shouted me out, but it was like, I felt like the shout out was like, y'all looked at me like I was dead and deceased, because near one of y'all even checking for me one time to do no solo, to do no, you know, collabo or whatever. Y'all knew I was live from way back. I know this for a fact. You feel me? So the reason I'm here is definitely for a reason. The reason I don't say I'm no Wu affiliate, I don't want nothing to do with them, just like they ain't want nothing to do with me. Anybody that's watching that Hulu series with the Wu, I don't watch 1 second of it, but whoever watches it, I'm not mentioning none of it. Right. You know what I mean? So just like I'm exile of their history, I'm a do them the same. You feel me? And when I tell my story, you won't even have to hear nothing about it because you already know their story. Right. Brothers don't know mine.
Right. Now, playing devil's advocate, right? Mm-hmm. what reason do they have to come back for you? Like, let me go back and get Pop, snatch him up, you know.
Well, like when you put on for your city,
Yeah,
say you want to put on for your city.
yeah.
Nah, for real. Like you want to put on for your city. You feel me? Like when I look at Jermaine Dupri, not a big fan of him, but he put on for his city.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody was screaming Atlanta. They didn't want to go there. They didn't want to do any of that. You know what I mean? He made it to where people wanted to go to Atlanta because what did he do? He put on for a city. He put people on from Atlanta. He put them on, boom, boom, put them in situations or whatever the case may be. So if you know you got a comrade, you know what I mean, or you shouted my name out, Pop the Brown Hornet. I didn't pay you to do that. You did that on your own.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you ask me, like, did they have to come back? You didn't have to say my name. You said my name for a reason. So pay homage to that because you know I come before you when it comes to the WU history. That's just bottom line. So don't we usually pay homage to what comes before you?
Definitely.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Definitely.
Like if you Jamaican, you know what I mean, paying homage, and that's where we mess up as black, colored men. We don't pay homage. We want to pound ourselves on the chest and act like, I remember when the Klan was up and coming and they was begging people to come to their shows. You know what I mean? Protect Your Neck didn't blast off. That shit rolled. You know what I mean? When Method Man came out with, hey, you get off my cloud, then they got a little bit more. But they was like, yo, we doing the show. Yo, come through. Yo, rap. That's when 200 Deeps. Ooh. So if we could rep you and you don't go hard in return, is that how it's done?
Let me ask you, why does, like, money always change friendship, relationships? It seems like when money gets involved,
Well,
shit change.
Well, when you deal with individuals that never had anything, it might change you. You know, let's get it perfectly clear. Like I said, it was a movement.
Right.
We Park Hill Stapleton shit at 10304. So there was heavy conflict between us. You know, don't get it twisted for one split second. I'm not gonna say, and you know, Park Hill, whether it be Shaquan, Shala, U-Guard, Inspector Deck, you know, we wasn't enemies trying to kill each other, but we wasn't best friends either. We wasn't smoking blunts with each other. Right. Now, there was individuals from Park Hill who I did smoke blunts with and I was chill with. I was chill with King Just. I was chill with other individuals. But that, you know, during that time, during the crack era, that's when people was on the top of their thug game. Like, then I, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So they always held a grudge. And when the music came into play, the grudge from Stapleton and Park Hill came along with it. You understand? So Park Hill, there was always Stapleton's better than Park Hill or Park Hill's better than Stapleton. So when the WU got on, the majority of the Klan is really from Park Hill. So that Stapleton Park Hill beef, like I said, it came with the Klan. Like Park Hill ate more to this day, 25 years later. You feel me? They eat more. Even in the Hulu series, they'll downplay Stapleton. Stapleton bum niggas, but they'll glorify Park Hill like, you know, they was that much better. See, the story is always told by the victor. Whoever's victorious tells the story. So when he tells the story, of course, it's going to sound, and anybody else telling their story is going to sound bitter. But if you heard the Brown Hornet story, it's a different perspective. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I was there in the beginnings when you was begging people to come to the show. I was there when y'all started seeing a little bit of success and was like, yo, stop inviting niggas from the show. We don't need them no more. We got, you know, we got followers and now they have a cult following. You feel me? So they reached the cult following. Now they don't need anything that happened in the beginning. Do you owe anybody? Nah, but when you put on for your city, there's not even a second thought for you just to go back and say, yo, here, my nigga. You know why? Because once you elevate yourself into a different bracket, now you're around different people with money. Now so you don't even have to use your money. Right. Like you can introduce me to Joe Smo who don't even give a who's just a fan. Right. You know what I mean? Like put it into my crowd, man. Yeah, I mean, it don't even have to come out of your pocket. Right. That's just the love of the universe. Especially if you 5% of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and you're dealing with, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is what these brothers promoted. But see, they have a lot of dysfunction in their own little group. So as the smoke cleared and you see cream rise to the top and there's really dysfunctional in there, I don't feel like, you know, I missed anything. You know, did they have it? Are they successful? And am I proud of them and all of that? Yeah, but of course. Yeah. You know, but from the outside looking in and after the smoke cleared, that situation could have been done a lot better. It was a lot of selfishness was going on in there. So I'm not, you know, mad I missed that boat. You asked the question, why does the money once it's contractual, see, it's the business of music. It's not the music business. It's the business of music. So whoever knows their business, and RZA knew his business more than any of those individuals at that time. These dudes was in the street trying to get out. RZA was already on Tommy Boy. You know what I mean? The Genius was already on Cold Chillin'. So these dudes was already in the industry, new industry lingo, this, that, and the third. They had lawyers and all of that. They had their lawyer to make a contract for them individuals to sign. They was dealing with, they was, like I said, 5%ers. You know, A alike, B alike, C alike. They didn't feel like they had to go check the contracts because they're dealing with the guard.
Right.
But it's a business. And the guard they signed, they didn't go conflict of interest, they didn't go get them contracts checked out. They didn't give a what RZA said. Yo, he told Meth, yo, you out here on the street, man, just give me a year. If I don't change your situation in a year, you can go back to the streets. His life was changed. They got together, they manifested that. They can't nobody on the planet take that away from them. You feel me?
Right.
So that's respect, love, and all of that. But at the same time they was doing that, you got to remember, there was Shaheem the Rugged Child. He was already on Virgin Records. He had a song called On and On that I was in the video and all of that. You feel me? I'm at the end, Mr. Hardy getting shot at the end. That's me. You feel me? But in that video, he also has a Wu Tang sticker on his shirt. You know what I mean? This is before they even was getting known. You know what I mean? But us being from Stapleton, where the Wu Tang started from, and the clan and all of that latching on to our Wu Tang movement, you feel me? It was nothing for Sha to say, let me throw it on my chest and rep y'all. Like, Sha was on Virgin, a major.
Right.
Wu Tang was on
Loud.
Loud. That was an indie.
Let's get into the Underground Emperor, right? We're going to build up.
Once you get a distribution deal, right, as a label, whatever that money is broken off to you. Like when they got broken off, yeah, I might have got like whatever, $20,000 check, right? So once the check is broken off to the label, now it's up to them. Understand what I'm saying now? You gotta, you know, once you got a distribution, I'm gonna put it out there. Here's your money. Now you as a businessman, as a label, the artist now, the artist, I'm back there whether I got to put on once I put up the album or whatever the case may be, especially back in the 90s, the artist is getting paid off the show. You know, was I thinking about getting paid off the albums at that particular time? Only if the independent label was going to put me in a situation to win. You know what I mean? So if he signs whatever the distribution deal is, whatever the indie sees what it is, whether video comes with it, emotions comes with it, they don't have to share that with me. Especially if they say, yo, I'm gonna cover you as an independent, that shouldn't even be my worry. Because whatever money you get, say hypothetically, the deal was for, I'm gonna just throw a number, $100,000, right? Say it was for $100,000. You as an independent, you figure, all right, maybe I only want to spend $25,000. I can do a $5,000 video. At that time when I did Black on Black Crime, even if it was a $10,000 video, you know what I mean? Then you got to figure you want to do promotions, or you might took an ad out, or as a radio, you know. Only that label would know. That information wasn't given to me. You understand? So when I came out with the Underground Emperor, as far as detailish, as far as what was given from MCA to Smoke Records, it wasn't shared. You understand? All I just know, I registered the songs, I got my publishing to this day, or whatever the case may be. But as far as the percentages of the albums I was getting and all of that, we already know that's peanuts. I wasn't looking for, you know, you gotta sell albums and earn that respect in order to say, you know what, let me earn leverage. I didn't get to that point. I didn't get to that. You know what I mean? Did I give them a dope album? Of course. You feel me? What they did with it after that, you know, was a different story.
So, I mean, were you curious to how much, you know, they got from Smoke Records, got from MCA? Were you curious, like, is this my right amount? Should I get more? Like, that was never a
Nah, it was never an issue.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so I could have, like I said, we could sit here, I could have got beat. He could have got 500,000. I didn't give a because at that particular moment, I knew just back this shit up. Let me, you know, just put the money, the same effort and love that I put into this album, put that backing into me. Whatever it is that you got, I was just looking for reinforcements. You know what I mean? I'm an artist, and my man said, you know what, just give me the album. I got the rest. I'm gonna do the rest. Just give me a dope album. I'm gonna do the rest. I got you. You feel me? So even if I'm helping them, man, you doing X, Y, Z, you gonna get you, yeah? Let's blast off. I already in my head was geared. Let me get these shows on the road, because that's where the money come from. You know what I mean? That's how you get leverage back then. It was just doing shows. How these dudes got rich back in the day. It was show after the shows was all over the place. It was.
We're gonna get to that, but
as far as the business,
right.
No.
The album is finished. It's recorded.
Right.
Right. What was the next step?
Next step, obviously, you do photos. You get the cover done up to it, and you package it up, mix and master, get the cover photos.
Right.
Right.
And you were actually deciding, let's go with this photo. Let's go with this.
After they took the photos, well, they told me what it was going to be. They said, listen, we're going to do, I started out in Stapleton with a CD, cassette, and he said, we're going to travel. We're going to take pictures along the way from the ferry to this, that, and the third, and then we're going to cap it off. You're going to go on top of a building and act like you're throwing your music to the world. So they captured all of that, and they put it inside my album cover when you release it. And then the cover of my shit, I was on the cover of my album. I was in my hat, boom, boom, and behind me it said the South Ferry, which leads you to Staten Island. So yeah, everything was more or less like I co-signed.
Was it all your decision, or this was made by them? They were telling you?
No, it was made by them, what they wanted to do, the storyline, to be a great story. Just like doing the video, as a treatment. So if you got a major label and they say, you know what, XYZ, we got a treatment for your album cover. You know what I mean? We're gonna take this, boom, 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 boom. All right, I was like, let's go.
All right. Did you have any say in this album, or it's just these guys have good ideas? Let me go with their ideas.
My whole album was my idea. Like I wrote my whole, Did they tell me to make any songs? No. Did they at that time? Like I said, when you break down my album, me, I'm an artist that builds on, I'm very diverse. I don't want any songs to sound the same. So when you listen to the Underground Emperor album, you'll hear that. I have my own distinctive sound, but you'll hear from R&B to rough hip hop to casual, that's done deliberately. The label really never came to me and said, we want to make a song like this or that or whatever. Even if they might have tried, I wasn't going to listen to it at that, I wasn't, I did my own shit.
All right, so Black and Black Crime comes out.
Yeah.
How did you guys prepare to drop that?
Like I said, independently, it was just like, that was my first dealing with Smoke Records. Him and R&S more or less got together, and R was like, yeah, Brown Hornet, he's ready to, he's ready to run and gun right now. So, I had another song that really was a street banger, but this is my first time really dealing with Smoke. So when I went up with, after I agreed with Smoke, like, yo, let's get this shit going or whatever the case may be, let's start off with a single. We all went up and it was like, yo, let's make something fresh. Like, I don't want to give him none of this shit that I have. Let's make something fresh, see where it happens. So at that particular point, when we went upstairs and he crafted the beat was like, crazy. No beat is like that ever really, even coming from out of the hood. It was like, oh shit, this shit is different, violent, and my early music, rest in peace to my Uncle Will. But my Uncle Willie used to take me, like, I was like 5, 6 years old, and he would play the flute, violin, piano. But the flute and violin, he was able to take me from Staten Island. We would go all around New York, playing in the train station. We played the flute, I stand there, looked like the hungry kid, and people would just be throwing money inside, but the acoustics would be bouncing off, and you know what I mean? He played his violin and shit. I had like a really weird brainiac uncle.
Right.
Especially, you know, like I said, coming from the hood, not many people, you know, black say they had their uncle could play the violin or could hit the flute. You know what I mean? So I had a definitely, I listened to Bach and Beethoven. When my mother was listening to this, that, and third, and the R&B and this, that, and third, when Uncle Will babysit, he'd be like, yo, listen to this. And I'd be like, this weird motherfucker, but he'd be into it. But it you know, it grabbed me. So the black on black crime beat with the violin and all of that, that was home, it was easy pickings for me. Maybe Art didn't know that, and certain individuals didn't know that, but when it did, it just took me back to the train station, or it took me back to certain spots to where my head was just like the creative. I wrote Black on Black Crime in the night. You know, it's really 2 verses. I took the beat from, you know what I mean? I was in a nice zone. That shit was finished the next day. It was 2 verses because the shit is slow and it drags out. So I didn't really want to kill it and be extra with it. I just knew I had to put everything inside of those 2 verses and make it, you know, make it stick. So dealing with Smoke and coming up with Black on Black, prior to that, you know, I might have been more territorial. I was coming, you know, and very hip-hop-ish, you know. My first song that I really put on wax was Can You Woo Woo Woo, or Is It Just a Front? And then I had a song called, the B-side was Let's Go to Lap. So when I dealt with Smoke Records, Black on Black Crime was the A-side, and the B-side was GP Connection with DSA. Black on Black, I wanted to be more universal. I said, let me make a song that is going to be more universal, that's going to give this small record label a chance. You know, I don't want to be territorial. I want something that's going to be so Black on Black Crime, you know, everybody could relate to that. When I made that, nobody really knew where I was coming from. I never knew I was from in that video, you know. So a lot of times when I was doing songs and doing shows, they just thought I was from Brooklyn or whatever the case may be. I was like, nah, I'm from Stapleton, Staten Island. You know, I never really said where I was from, so they just took it like, yo, that new shit, yo, Brooklyn shit, yo, that shit is hard. Nah, I'm from Staten Island. Oh shit, y'all, you know, y'all hood out, y'all black people out there. So I see you on the project. So yeah, I mean, even that alone, you know, when you say a sound, I didn't have, you know, a W sound. It had a sound of its own.
Yeah. Was the song selling as much
as the hype behind it?
Yeah.
Well, what I think it was able to do, like even to say it was selling, it was getting buzz. It went #1 college radio, Gavin, and it was able to attract MCA Records, which was a big conglomerate, and he was able, Smoke Records was able to piggyback, and the Waitons had an album to come out with a, you know, with a major. So even the potential of what could have happened, you probably could be bigger than any money amount at that time. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, MCA. Yo, Hank Shockley, Daddy O's your A&R. Hank Shockley did Public Enemy. Daddy O, Sonic. Like, we dealing with hip hop up here at MCA Records. This is gonna be something big. I'm like, yo, this is what we thinking. You thinking money after. Money's gonna come when you put that work. You gotta put that pain in first. That's what anybody. You gotta put pain in before you start thinking about bread. You know, so I was willing to put the pain in. The pain was getting put in. That pen was busting. I'm writing for this, that, the third group, boom, boom, solo album. Show me the money. That's it. I'll get to that shit. You know.
I mean, do you
when you look,
that now?
I regret what?
Like not getting to the money back then.
Of course not. No. I don't regret anything. Nah. I don't. I'm good. I'm blessed. Right. I'm rich. Right. You feel me? I look good. I got my teeth. We've been through. You know, the objective of the game is not to look like what you've been through. Right. You know what I mean? So the higher power has blessed me with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I'm sitting here in front of you with no regrets. When you grow up, you're a little bitter about this, that, and the third, because things have went better, so forth. Yeah, of course. But I'm gonna sit here right now and say, yo, I got to the money on a whole nother other level. You know, I'm building with individuals with potential of you know, great things to come. I still yet to come. Life is a marathon. I'd rather be a lion for a day than a lamb for a lifetime. So the higher power there's a reason why you might have the God said, you know what, take the long route. I listened to something earlier today, and the young lady said, you have the look. You feel me?
Right.
And the higher power chooses some to take the long way, because even though you have the look, you might not have what it takes to fulfill that look.
Right.
So let me put you through the pain. So by the time you make that 360 and you sitting, now the pain goes along with the look that you know what I mean? The look of determination, I can't fail, all of those things that you had to embody to get to that point. Some people look like that, but that's a facade. They could have the look, but they're not really made. They haven't been through anything. A lot of these kids, a lot of these artists, they grab that success and it could slip right out of their hands because they had to look for it, but they didn't have, the complete package, the knowledge, the wisdom, and an understanding.
Okay. All right. Was there like a second single off of the Underground Emperor?
Underground Emperor? No. What I did? Underground Emperor, I came with Black on Black Crime. When I came with the Underground Emperor, I think it was Follow Me Up. What came out, Follow Me Up was the first single that I, more or less, to push the album. Follow Me Up was coming. I did the video, BET was spinning it, all of that. Then I was looking for, that was before the album was complete. That was like, so when the album dropped, I was looking for a video to come out with that, and they left me in limbo. So I wound up cursing the label out. I wound up cursing out Steve Corbin, Naheem Ali, people that was up there in LA. I was in New York. So if I probably could have did like an Ice Cube, when you watch the Ice Cube movie and he went up there and he went up with the bat, and you know what I mean? If I was in LA, I probably would have did that. I was young and I was hungry at that time. I felt like they played with my life. They definitely fumbled the ball. So I didn't really have a lead-off single. I gather they was leaving that in the budget that they gave to Smoke Records. And I don't know if Smoke Records and them was willing to cover that. It was like the blame game. Well, MCA ain't giving us a video. Yo, what's up? You gonna shoot the video? Boom, boom, I don't know if I got it in the budget, you know what I mean? So me being frustrated already, having a situation go down with GP Wu, and then now doing it to me, I called up Steve Colvin and it was like, straight up and down. So they pulled my album. Right, Steve Colvin and them, they wanted me to apologize and all of that, and I probably did. Yo, Steve, I apologize, boom, 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 and it was like, they still yanked my album. You feel me? So was
it because the song wasn't a hit, or what was the reason?
I mean, at the end of the day, when I look at it, we was dealing with MCA, which is an R&B, could have been a tax write-off. I mean, MCA, Mary J, they got Casey and JoJo, they got breadwinners. To develop, it would have took a lot for Hank and Daddy O. Of course, it could have been a beautiful thing because they had independent Smoke Records. We had in-house producers, all of that. I just don't think they took it seriously enough. I think, they was Hank and was comfortable with having the Queen and Joe Casey and they was just comfortable with having the heavy hitters that they didn't really have to put that much energy into a hip hop album. So I think, like I said, if they would have really gave Smoke Records, I think if they would have gave Smoke, this is my opinion, I don't know how much power or how much leverage they gave him, but I do believe if, they would have hit him off correctly, it could have been a great situation where multiple videos could have been done off that album. So I think it would have got the notoriety that it needed to be, successful and hang around. Because I believe, when you got the Underground Emperor, there's songs on that album that could easily have been singles. I mean, I got a song on there called Stand Up. That's with Chauncey Black from Black Street. Give me a video with Chauncey. Any day. I'll take it with him now. We two chalk. We're gonna make this shit rock out. So back then, You know, if I did a song with Chauncey Black from Black Street, you'd have put me in the lane easily, but without second thought. Get them cameras blasted. Let's make this shit happen easily.
Yeah.
So, and that's just naming one song. You know, I had multiple songs off that album that I feel like, you know, if they would have gave it the time of day, it could have definitely been impactful. Coming from out of Staten Island, New York, something different than the W.
All right. So the follow-up didn't come out.
Nah.
What did you do after that?
In my life?
Your life?
Yeah, man. Shit. After that, I had to go to work, man. I worked 731. I've been in the union, you know, since 2001. So I worked 731, Labor's Union in New York City.